Hi, this is Billie Beene here with Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, December 10, 2024, time in Texas, about 8 a.m. Israel is currently invading Syria. So let's get to it. We've been seeing things going on in the Middle East that appeared to be bizarre. And this all began about November 27, and by about December 8, Syria had fallen. Now, we are to believe that Russia and the U.S. and NATO and the Middle East did not know that hundreds of tanks were being moved into Syria, which has been going on for months. No, this whole deal has been a big setup. So Larry W. Taylor's intel is that Turkey's militias, talking about the Kurds, we have multiple groups operating in Syria. Several groups are funded. They were founded, funded, trained by the U.S. One is the HTS, formerly the Al-Qaeda. Another in the Syria, another group, Kurds, who are primarily Christians, are backed by the U.S. And about 15,000 Kurds are in Syria under the direction, we believe, of the U.S. Now, Larry W. Taylor's intel is that the Kurds, who are primarily Christians, some of these groups have begun to participate in ethnic cleansing, killing the Kurds because they are Christians. And also Turkey then came down with their group into northern Syria, which is also thousands. Turkey's group is the SDF. And Turkey has taken control of North Syria. And then we're hearing last night, Israel began going into Damascus through Golan Heights. And so that's going on right now. And now we have this. So we have Judge Napolitano talking about the U.S. Congress has allocated $1.5 billion to support Syrian rebels. These are Islamic jihadists via the U.S. CIA and the U.S. State Department. Oh, and rumors are coming out that Blinken, Secretary of State, is like the third clone now. We're not seeing the real Blinken. And we have this, that Israel is beginning to attack both Syria and Lebanon. We had heard that about November 27, there was a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, but now we see that was just part of the plan for Israel then to concentrate their forces. Once certain things had happened in Syria, for Israel then to invade Syria, which is going on right now. And this has been a NATO plan that has been months and billions of dollars in the planning by NATO, the U.S., Israel, and Turkey to overthrow Assad. So that's going on. And we have Erdogan of Turkey had a phone call last Thursday, according to the New York Times, with President Putin of Russia. This happened last Friday morning. And Iran on Friday, then, Iran began to evacuate its Quds IRGC forces from Syria. Iran would have also been involved in this big plan. So then Friday, Iran began to evacuate the Quds and IRGC and families from Syrian cities back to Lebanon. And we have Russia now has 2 bases along the border with Syria, and Russia moved their ships, but they left their bases there with a security force. And Russia has made a statement, leave the Russian bases alone. So that's going on. And now we have this. We have on December 8th, then, last night, we had Israel begin to bomb. Today's the 10th. Last night, Israel began to invade Syria. The previous day, December 8th, the U.S. then bombed. They bombed 75 locations. And this is Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, taking out Syrian military installations. And this is according to the CENTCOM commander. The U.S. on Sunday bombed 75 locations inside Syria using B-52s and A-10s. So that's going on. And then we had Israel was also engaging in bombing Syrian intel facilities and government buildings. So we had Sunday, the U.S. and Israel bombing inside Syria. We saw a fall of the Syrian government, primarily because there had been a deal with the Syrian military, and the Syrian military took their uniforms off, put on civilian clothes, and went home. They offered no resistance whatsoever. And now we have this happening last night. Israel invades Syria with many tanks, multiple columns of tanks. And they went from the Golan Heights, the West Bank, toward Damascus, taking many villages. This happened last night. Texas time would have been about 8 p.m. and has been going on all night. And Israel's Air Force bombs many locations in Syria. And last night there was a second wave of Israeli bombs that left a chemical smell in the air. It's being reported that people were choking and having seizures. This is alleging from U.S. intel that Israel was dropping some type of chemical bombs, and that currently a chemical cloud is above Damascus. This happened last night. And all night long, Israeli tanks have been moving toward Damascus. So then we have this, yes, all night long, and Israel jets are bombing last night Syrian Navy. I guess the Syrian Navy stayed on the Syrian ships that would have been in this area. Here's Syria, Lebanon, out in the Mediterranean. So that's going on. And now we have this. This happened last night. Turkey also, so last night, Turkey's military also invaded Syria. Turkey has provided ISIS, so Turkey also has ISIS as one of their rebel groups. So Turkey provides ISIS rebels who are controlled by the Israeli intel group Mossad. And Mossad is in control of each of the Islamic groups. That would be the U.S., HTS, Al-Qaeda. That would be Turkey, SDF, and ISIS. And the Kurds, I believe, are controlled by the U.S. Now, NATO had offered President Assad of Syria a deal. And part of the deal was Assad was to stop Iran from supplying Hezbollah in Lebanon, who were then firing rockets into Israel. In exchange, the U.S. would lift sanctions against Syria. Assad rejected that, and Assad also rejected normalizing relations with Turkey. So the Kurds also were to be allowed to operate as an independent group inside Syria. Syria was also to take in Syrian refugees from Turkey. President Assad said no to all of the NATO points. So President Assad abdicated his leadership in Syria, currently for reasons that are unknown, and then sought asylum in Russia. And then this morning, December 10, the Israeli tanks are now about 2 miles from Damascus. So it's believed that Israel is now in the process of taking land. Golan Heights, which technically, legally, is still part of Syria. And apparently Israel wants to take all of this part of Syria. This would be Damascus. So it can be put forth. I'll draw a new map, which I think Syria is going to fall into 3 parts. So we've got Syria. I think Israel is going to take the Golan Heights up to Damascus. And we have Turkey that's going to take Aleppo and Idlib. And the U.S. is going to take the eastern part of Syria, where currently we have the Conoco oil fields. We also have U.S. bases. So this will drive a wedge then between Israel and Iran. And it's believed early in the spring that the U.S. and NATO will have some type of dust-up with Iran. So we see today, we see that since November 27 through about December 10 today, we see a NATO plan that had been in place for months and would have been well known by Iran, Syria, Israel, Turkey, Russia, and all NATO nations, as well as China. to then divide Syria, to cut off Iran's supply of weapons to Hezbollah and Lebanon. It's now believed also that Israel will take Lebanon. So this will be quite a land grab, as well as Palestine. So Israel is in the process of multiplying its land by thousands of acres. So it's believed Israel is going to take Lebanon, the Golan Heights, the western part of Syria. Turkey is going to take the northern part of Syria, and the U.S. is going to take the eastern part of Syria. So we see a good deal was offered to Assad, President Assad of Syria, who said no and technically abdicated and is now in Russia in a situation of seeking asylum. So what does this mean for the U.S. and the U.S. military going forward? We see this is happening under JB's time in office. What can President Trump expect on his plate with regard to the Middle East when he is inaugurated in January? I believe that this situation will bring a certain amount of peace to the U.S., and it appears that Israel and Turkey, who had set up the Islamic rebels who routinely kill Christians and routinely behead people, they are considered Islamic fanatics. It appears that these groups, in my judgment, have been set up to be the front people and now are being taken out by forces from Syria, by the U.S., and by Israel. So this concludes my flash update. What's going on in the Middle East? I love you, and I'll see you soon.